Hi, Scott. You know, there is an ongoing concern of new emerging epidemics. Why does this happen?
Well, there are a lot of reasons that this happens. If you want to focus a little bit on mosquito-borne viruses,
Please.
the reasons include air travel. It's very clear that recent outbreaks have resulted from infected people getting on planes and traveling halfway around the world in a matter of hours, not knowing they're infected. There's usually an incubation period before symptoms appear. And then if it's a virus that's transmitted human to mosquito to human, it simply takes one person arriving in a permissive location. And for Zika, one spark can light off a massive epidemic, and these viruses can spread very readily. There are other factors involved sometimes as well. The viruses mutate, as all RNA viruses do, and we don't know yet whether that's been a factor in Zika spread and epidemics. We're looking carefully at that right now.
So you mentioned Zika, from what I understand, is a virus that has been known for decades and really hasn't been much concern for the general public. And all of a sudden, it's right on. It's on focus. What happened?
We do know that Zika evolved in Africa in the past, spread from Africa to Asia many decades ago. We know the virus originally was found in a monkey mosquito transmission cycle in forests of Africa. In fact, that's where it was discovered in 1947.
In the Zika forest.
In the Zika forest in Uganda.
I see.
But we now know that it can also enter into an urban mosquito-human transmission cycle. We don't know how often that occurred in the past because we weren't looking for it. We didn't have appropriate diagnostics available to look for it.
Do we have an effective diagnostic for Zika now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In some parts of the world, for example, in Europe and the United States, people are not immune from other flaviviruses, then we can diagnose them readily at any stage of infection. At the early stage, we can detect the virus in their bloodstream. The RNA of the virus can be detected by a PCR-based reaction during the very earliest phase of the acute disease. But remember that most people don't even develop any symptoms at all. So we usually just don't know about 80% of the people who are infected. After the virus is gone, we can detect antibodies with an ELISA test that, in the absence of other flavivirus immunity, works quite well. The problem really comes in with Zika. It's a very mild disease, so people may not seek health care at all, or they may wait a few days after they first see a rash or feel a little bit of joint pain or a little fever. They may think this is not serious, doesn't require immediate attention. By the time they go to healthcare setting where there are diagnostics available, then the viremia is gone and we can only detect antibodies. And if they've been exposed in the past to especially dengue, which is extremely common throughout the tropics, many people have multiple dengue infections by the time they're adults, then those dengue antibodies will cross-react against the antigens that are usually used for Zika diagnostics. So a person will test positive for Zika IgM, but we don't know for sure if that really reflects a recent dengue infection or a Zika infection. And so then it's very difficult, often inconclusive, to interpret those results.
I wanted to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Scott.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.